தொழிற்கட்சி பாராளுமன்ற உறுப்பினர் Siobhain McDonagh அவர்கள் இதற்காக உரையாற்றுவார்.
Thank you, Father Jevanason. I kindly request Mrs. Siobhain McDonagh, Labour MP for Mitcham and Morden, to say a few words regarding the Tamil genocide.
A friend of the Tamil community. All of us here are well aware of the tenacity of the Tamil community, which continues to fight against ongoing human rights abuses in Sri Lanka for justice and for accountability. That determination and strength of will has no doubt secured much of the progress we have seen in Sri Lanka, as well as the huge international recognition of the injustice that Tamils face. It is only because the Tamil community is so organised and is so motivated that international bodies have investigated the crimes of the civil war. If the Tamil community had not made their voices heard, then the UN Human Rights Commissioner may not have investigated the appalling crimes that the Tamil community have experienced. But we all know that despite some of the positive steps we have taken, within our own borders, the UK government's response has simply not been good enough. The UK government has been far too accepting of the assurances made by successive Sri Lankan governments. The UK still lags far behind the rest of the world. Just look at some of the sanctions that we have seen in other countries. In the US, the government imposed sanctions on the governor of the Northwestern province for the human rights violations he committed during the Civil War. In Canada, the government imposed sanctions on the former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and his brother, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, and even more military officials. The EU passed a resolution calling for trade and tariff sanctions if Sri Lanka doesn't meet its human rights obligations. And in the UK, we cannot point to any significant international pressure. The UK needs to do far more to play its part. I also just want to highlight that almost everyone in the Tamil community has family, neighbours or friends who have disappeared. This will be true of families living in my constituency of Mitcham and Morden, as it will be for Tamils living across the world. This is not some abstract problem that we only talk about at meetings and receptions. In the world of the Foreign Office and the international relations speak, it's easy to forget that it's about people and the victims of some truly horrific crimes. We're talking about disappearances, extrajudicial executions, rape, sexual violence and torture. All abuses that were committed with impunity on families that we know. Since the 1980s, there have been at least 60,000 and as many as 100,000 cases of enforced disappearance in Sri Lanka, the vast majority of whom are from the Tamil community, and so many of them being women. Everyone who has connection to victims of these crimes, and indeed the whole Tamil community, deserves a proper voice in Parliament to speak up and ensure that we do not allow them to be forgotten. That is why I take great pride in my role as the UK's Vice Chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for the Tamil community, and it is an honour to represent the Tamil community in Parliament. I will just finish by saying that whatever party wins the next general election, there will be members of the APPG that will be able to make a joint call for justice and accountability. It is really important that this cross-party support is enduring. I'm very proud of my long-standing relationship with the Tamil community. I hope that it is one that will continue to go from strength to strength until Tamils have full access to the human rights and justice in Sri Lanka that they so clearly deserve. Thank you.
Siobhain McDonagh, Labour Party MP.